know what? Right now, it probably is, but I got to have that order pretty much now. All right, I talked about this, 3-4 hours ago now on Facebook, and I was telling you then, I'm going to tell you now. Everybody needs to own this. This is a ridiculous price break on this origin of a watch, this design of a watch. I even included the packaging in the photo I did on Facebook because it's just so weird and great and different. And we're going to sit down now with Craig Hester, the watch industry's favorite comrade, who, among other accolades, we should say, it's realistic to say you're the single biggest importer of this level of a watch, the exotic watch, and it's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thanks, Tim. Yeah, we're pretty much at this point, we are the largest that bring in from Eastern Europe and from Russia still,
yeah.
The brands. This is a new brand for us. This is only the second airing of the Nesterov brand. So it's exciting.
Which did huge on the premiere.
We did great on the premiere. I will tell you, it's funny, Wayne was saying it earlier about he was negotiating prices. I was literally negotiating a price on this right before the show as well. I wanted to bring this out at a little better, well, actually a lot better. We dropped it fairly significantly right before the show because I want the chance of, you know, I have a pretty loyal following here. I mean, you know that. Mm-hmm. It's guys that love our watches. They grab practically, like with the radio room, I can't tell you the number of times people tell me they have every single execution. So I wanted to get these on the wrists of the guys so they can try out the Nesterov brand, see the quality, see the interesting story. So we dropped this down to the $149. You were saying earlier, I don't recall us having a watch at this price point. If we have, it's been years. We certainly haven't at ShopHQ.
Yeah, I was saying because you and I have done shows since around 2006, and I was trying to think
way back then, coming up on a decade ago.
And you finally did come up with one that would compete in price. But we're actually going back over a decade even to get there, and it wasn't this brand. Frankly, it wasn't this complex of a build.
No.
This is a very exciting opportunity. Now, how do you order this? It's per color, and I want to mention this very quickly, and then we're going to get into more of the minutia. It is orange or blue. Now, if you first look at these, they basically look nearly the same, and I don't disagree. But if you look closely, you're going to see that one of them has sort of this light orange thing going on.
I would even call it like a rose, Tim.
Yeah, almost like a darker rose gold in a way.
They called it...
and this is the blue, and you can see that actually rather starkly.
They called it orange because he had to give it some kind of a color, but I would even say it looks almost like the rose color we're used to, or the Russian red, highlighting the numerals on this. I'm going to try to put this on and fail miserably. So let me tell you about Nesterov real quick.
Yeah, please.
What everybody's looking at here. Everybody who knows, you know, what I bring in the Eastern European and Russian watches. This is a brand that actually marries both. They're based in Vilnius, Lithuania, oddly enough, where Vostok Europe is based, and I did not realize there was another brand there until just recently. And they are also based in Russia. They have not been in the West until just recently. In fact, we are the first company to ever bring them to North America. The only place you can get them, well, particularly like this model right now, the only place you can get it is here at ShopHQ. The Nesterov brand, they have been primarily in Russia. They sell about 30,000 watches a year in Russia, and they wanted to expand to the West, so they brought in, and here you can see the lock-over crown, which is just a really cool system on this one. You know, a lot of times that's a chain, and in this particular one it has this, I don't even know what you would call it, a lever, which makes it, you know, those chains can sometimes be easy to break, you know that, on the lock-over crowns, whereas this really adds a level of strength and solidity to the crown. Anyway, the name Nesterov, it's actually a pilot's name. Those of you who've been watching me for a lot of years, you probably have heard me talk about him before, Pyotr Nesterov. He was the father of aerobatic flight. He was the first pilot, a Russian pilot, not surprising there, to ever perform an actual loop.
I didn't know that.
At the time he believed that he could do it. People were naysayers about it. Naysayers going to naysay.
They do. They do.
People naysayed about it. He couldn't do it. He went up in a plane called the Newport 4, which was actually a French plane owned by the Soviet government, and he did a loop. Now, the interesting thing is after that, the Soviets put him in jail for endangering Soviet property.
Equipment. Yeah, I can see that coming.
And then, but then he became an overnight sensation. A French pilot duplicated the feat not long after, and he became an overnight sensation in Russia. So the government reversed the reversed the sentence against him, and then actually ended up giving him like the order of whatever. You know, I forget which one he got. Like,
as they do.
But now, so he's the inspiration for the brand. The brand whole idea is pilot and aviation-based watches, taking that history and then bringing them fashion forward, still making them very usable, truly professional quality watches. But you know, these are not throwbacks. You know the style of the older Russians. They're more fashion forward, but then they pick up. There's the loom shot.
Loom, great loom on this, by the way.
It's a sad story too. Nesterov believed in he did a lot of things in setting up the concepts of what you could do aerobatically in a plane, and he believed that one plane could take down another in flight during battle. And in World War II, he attempted to prove that, and he wanted to take down another plane, and he actually rammed the plane in the air. He intended, apparently, to do a glancing blow and take the plane down. Ended up doing as much damage to his plane as the other, and he died in the attack. But he was the first pilot to ever successfully take down another plane in air-to-air combat. So that's I think knowing the name and what the name comes from, that it's the homage to the father of aerobatic flight tells you a lot about the brand. And then if you want to go, we should quickly go over some of the specs.
Yeah, please.
Well, I believe this is a 40, what is it? It's a 45.
45, I thought.
It's a 45 millimeter. It has the lockover crown. This has the Miyota 2115, so you know it's a good, strong, solid movement in it. You got to show them the case side and the case back. This is only 250 made for the world. And it's etched on the case side and the case back.
I love the signed case, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
I really do.
Well, for those of you who aren't familiar with this, it's a big deal when you put the LE number on the case. And here's why. The LE number is both on the case and the case back in this watch. If it's only on the case back, it is conceivable the case back could be moved to another unit at some point, which can arguably undermine the integrity of the limited edition number of the original production of the watch. You can't do that in this case because the case back and the case are marked. It's also much more expensive to mark the actual case than it is to stamp on a case back.
Sure,
so that's a big deal. Vostok Europe does the same thing on some of their models, so that's a big deal. This watch is inspired by the Yak-1 plane, the Yakovlev Design Bureau. You guys have heard me talk about that too. The original inspiration for the Zofter line was the Yak-9 plane. The Yak-1, the very first one, it was a World War II plane, arguably one of the planes that won World War II for the Allies. Extremely maneuverable, fast, well-armed, and was easy to maintain. So that's the inspiration for the watch, and that's what you're seeing etched on the case back. This is just a really good opportunity for those who've been looking at our brands, who found us interesting. First of all, it's great for those who've been buying and collecting, and thank you, our watches for many, many years. And I want to give a shout out to the guys at Watch in Time, and that's with a Y, watchintime.com. It's a new forum that's shown a lot of support to us already, and I appreciate everything from you guys. They were really excited about this one. This is a chance for the collectors to add something inexpensively to their growing collections, and it's a great opportunity for somebody who's been looking at our watches and said, I'm not so sure about those Eastern Europeans or the Russians, or do I want to try it? This is a great entry-level watch to try that.
And you get so much. First of all, it's a lot of watch for $149. But secondly, it's the legacy of this. The fact that you actually have something that's physically produced.
And these are hand assembled in Lithuania,
which is amazing. In fact, I had a chance to be over there for about a week. In fact, Craig and I went over together, and I got to do some photography, and including, by the way, I did 2 days of shooting just in the Vostok Europe facility. These guys are crazy watch guys. I mean, there's some decades of experience. They build beautiful things. Now, by the way, this one's not by Vostok Europe, but the point is that you're in an area that builds absolutely beautiful, beautiful stuff. And in all candor, most go for way more money. And by the way, worth every bit of it. I've collected them for years, but this is such a price break. I urge everybody to get this. You've got about 50, about 49 now, 49 minutes left. Then this offer will be retracted, and they're never bringing this back. And they only built 250 for the whole world.
Yeah, they're going to be gone soon as it is.
Grab it. That is seriously Without hesitation, you should own that watch. You'll be very happy.